You're watching KCCI, Channel 8, Des Moines, Iowa's news leader and home of live Super Doppler. This is KCCI News Channel 8 at 10.
The Woodbine High School Choir is singing a new song at graduation this year. Good evening and thanks for joining us this Sunday. Usually, the choir sings the Lord's Prayer, but a federal judge has told them not to.
The school district lost a lawsuit by the Iowa Civil Liberties Union, who said the song violated two students' religious freedom. Patricia Moret shows us how the decision changed the graduation ceremony from our Western Iowa Live.
It's the same pomp and circumstance as every other graduation at Woodbine High. But this year, the choir sang a different song, literally. In past years, moms and dads took home video of the choir singing the Lord's Prayer. Last week, a federal judge ordered the school not to sing the song after an atheist family complained. Sunday, the only religion home video cameras caught an intentional sneeze from the class president. Bryce Farley did it to get a message across.
That song's pretty emotional to some people, and I guess without it they felt we didn't have graduation, so I tried to just let them know we're all thinking about that song by doing a little sneeze. So
the move went over well, both with the audience and with protesters outside the ceremony. Most of the people in the small eastern Iowa town wanted the song in the ceremony, but they understand the court's ruling and say it's just one of the graduates' first life lessons.
That was Tricia Moret reporting from our Western Iowa Live Link. Administrators handed out a warning with the programs today asking people to abide by the court's ruling and not recite the Lord's Prayer. Most graduates say they didn't miss the song and they're glad to put the ordeal behind them.
And commencement services were also going on today at Drake University. As News Channel 8's Jessica Chandler shows us, many graduates say the job search is just beginning.
First group of graduates since September 11th.
They deserve to celebrate. It's just wonderful accomplishments and through some tough times in which they've really pulled together, and we're very proud of them.
But for many, it's a day of mixed emotions.
It's exciting, but yet being the first class to graduate after September 11th and the current state of the economy, it's kind of scary as well.
After September 11th, a lot of companies stopped hiring. Now a lot of these people are looking at what seems to be a jobless job market.
The job market is basically pathetic.
If there's any jobs out there, you can get a hold of me. My name's Justin.
Many grads say they'll rely on temp jobs until they can find something a little more permanent.
There's a lot of people that are debating bartending, waitressing just to pay rent. And it's the fact that we're the college kids that might be going home right away is kind of sad, but I guess we'll make it through it.
A lot of parents know what their kids are facing, and they say they're not too worried.
We were the first generation of largely college graduates, and now these kids can just do what they want to do, so I'm excited for them. I think there's a lot of opportunity.
Still, a lot of graduates say they'll be more confident when they're hired.
We'll see how it is. Life as we know it is changing. It's a new chapter.
Jessica Chandler, KCCI News Channel 8.
Drake's president says on-campus recruiting also dropped this year, but he says a lot of graduates are still able to find jobs from previous internships.
Many Iowa high school graduates aren't reading as well as they should be. The Des Moines Register reports that 25% of this year's graduates read below their expected grade level. Many of those students can't even read at 9th grade levels. But Iowa is still above the national rate.
Several fire departments spent the afternoon putting out a garage fire in Indianola. It happened about 2:30 this afternoon at the Fairview apartment complex. The fire burned 5 garages and damaged 2 cars. The Indianola Fire Department called for help from area departments because of worries about a gas explosion. There's no official word on a cause.
It's less than 2 weeks away from the primary elections. Starting Monday, our morning show will feature one-on-one interviews with all 3 Republican candidates. You'll see Steve Sukup on Monday, Doug Gross on Tuesday, and Bob Vanderplatz on Wednesday. Find out about the candidates and find out their visions for the state of Iowa. That's all next week, right here on News Channel 8 this morning.
Well, a bright sunny day helped inspire artists and their customers in West Des Moines today. Musicians and artists set up shop in Valley Junction today for the annual Spring Art Fest. Dozens of people sold pottery, jewelry, and paintings, while others helped entertain kids and put on artistic demonstrations. Looks like a good time. It was a beautiful day today. It certainly was. I was in the car for a large portion of it, but hey, okay. Jason Parkins over in the Weather Lab. What a gorgeous day today.
Gorgeous day. Dry air out there heated up very quickly, so we saw some nice high temperatures, but as a month in total, it has been a chilly one. As we take you now to the graphics and look at the first 19 days of the month, 13 days below normal so far this month, only 5 above, 1 at the normal mark, and we are expecting another chilly night tonight. Frost advisory has been issued for Iowa north of Highway 34, so we'll talk about that. Some warmer temperatures in the 5-day forecast and take a look at some chances for rain as well. We'll do that in just a few minutes.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Jason.
A new video of Osama bin Laden is being released. Why the video is discouraging to those trying to track him down.
And a Des Moines doctor explains what it's really like to live in the war-torn Mideast. Plus, see how a building once used as a firehouse is about to become something very different. That's coming up on News Channel 8 at 10.
And to see what they're going through just tears at your heart.
Another suicide bombing in Israel rocks an unlikely target. 2 Israelis were killed in the bombing. More than 50 others were hurt.
The bombing happened in an open-air market in Netanya. It didn't come without warning, but the bomber slipped through security by wearing an Israeli army uniform. After the explosion, Israeli tanks rolled into Ramallah, where Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat has his headquarters.
Well, this latest attack is of significant interest to one Des Moines man.
Dr. Alan Kozlow returned from a trip to Israel just last month. KCCI News Channel 8's Emily Givens talked with him today, and she joins us from the newsroom. Emily, what does he have to say about the situation?
Dr. Kozlow says Americans don't realize the impact of what's going on in the Middle East, but he uses his visit to the region to explain what it's like for Israelis to live with terror almost every day.
Everyone is saddened there. Everyone is much more fearful than they were before, and yet in spite of that, everybody still wants peace.
Dr. Alan Kozlow talks with animation about the journey back to his homeland.
This is the hospital in Netanya where the bomb went off.
Last month, Kozlow visited a hospital that's a half-block away from where Sunday's suicide bombing hit. The pictures tell the story.
And on every floor of the hospital, they have to have a bomb shelter that's big enough to fit all the patients from that floor.
Kozlow says Americans can't fully understand the significance of Sunday's suicide bombing.
It actually is the area in the country where the Palestinians and the Israelis live in almost the best harmony.
Kozlow says the most recent bombing is just a sign of things to come. He thinks about what's happening to his homeland, and in a time when most would stay away, he continues to go back.
We all have an obligation to be witnesses to history. And that's and I take that to heart, that's something for all of us that we have to do.
Kozlow says he'll go back to Israel in February. He plans on returning with a group of doctors from the United States. And Todd and Aaron, they'll be working in a hospital that serves mostly Palestinians.
Must take a lot of courage to go back there. Thanks,
I think
Emily.
so. Mm-hmm.
In other international news, a lot of people are wondering, is Osama bin Laden dead or alive?
A possible clue begins tonight's updates on the war on terrorism. A new video of a man identified as Osama bin Laden is out today. The source who provided the video says the pictures of bin Laden were filmed in March of 2002, although that's not been confirmed. If it's real, the footage would provide the first proof that bin Laden survived the U.S.-led attack on his al-Qaeda network and Afghanistan's former Taliban.
The prospect of another attack against the United States is very, very real. It's just as real, in my opinion, as it was September 12th.
Sobering news from Vice President Dick Cheney today. He says it is not a matter of if, but rather when terrorists will again attack the United States. Cheney says the government is doing everything it can to stop it, but that it is almost impossible to build a 100% defense.
A U.S. Special Forces soldier has been killed while on patrol in eastern Afghanistan. Sergeant Arden Vance Jr. of West Virginia was shot when his unit came under heavy fire. A U.S. military spokesman says there were no other reported coalition casualties in the firefight, and it's unclear whether there were any casualties among the enemy forces. Well, it's a restaurant with a railroad theme. Coming up, we'll show you how its owner is creating another restaurant out of an old firehouse.
More frost is possible tonight. We'll have your 5-day forecast with some better news, too, coming up.
This live Super Doppler 8 forecast is sponsored by Stivers Lincoln Mercury. Keeping Central Iowa ahead of the storm. Your live Super Doppler 8 forecast.
Oh, look at that. He's all grown up. Our own Brian Hall, our producer there, graduating. There he goes. Also the afternoon voice of award-winning traffic on Star 102.5. And Amanda Lewis, there they go. Just completed, she did, a carefully orchestrated 8-year plan through college. So best of luck to them. It sounds like they'll need it as they move into the real world now. And back to work, by the way, next weekend. Let's take a look at current conditions from the International Airport. Dry air out there, so it will be a chilly night again as that dry air allows temperatures to drop overnight very quickly. Clear skies, northeast winds at 7 miles per hour. The dew point temperature 26 degrees, 35% humidity, and the barometer 30.28. And that barometer is rising as the air begins to chill just a little bit. School net temperatures across the state of Iowa right now. Here's the way some of them look. 51 degrees in Montezuma. Knoxville's at 55. Here at our studios, a temperature of 56 degrees. Panora 54. Afton and Fontenelle, temperatures of 55 degrees respectively. Time lapse, this was Cloud Tracker. A look from our downtown camera off to the west tonight as the sun burning through. No clouds out there this evening, and again, those clear skies will allow for very chilly temperatures overnight. Right now across the state of Iowa, they look like this. Cedar Rapids 49 degrees, Ottumwa and Fort Dodge at 52, as is Algona. Council Bluffs right now, a temperature of 52 degrees as well. The dry air, chilly temperatures ahead have once again prompted the Weather Service to issue a frost advisory tonight for all of Iowa north of Highway 34. So if you have plants outside, it will be a chilly one, and we are expecting again those chilly temperatures during the overnight hours. Look across the region, your regional satellite and radar picture now, and a few clouds off to the north and to the east. A few showers earlier off to our southwest across portions of Kansas and also across portions of Nebraska. But for us, high pressure, sinking very cool air that will make again for a chilly night and keep precipitation at bay for the next few days. Predict your computer model with temperatures dipping into the 30s again tonight, especially in the northern part of the state, in outlying areas as well. But that dry air also heats very quickly. It will be a day much like today as we start the work week.